All right, Miles, let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs for a little bit. This Chiefs team, once again, they're plugging along, 10-win season as usual, as expected. They're right now tied for the Buffalo Bills atop the AFC. We'll see how that conference shakes out, where they get the 1 seed or the 2 seed. A lot of football left, but it's all really been on the strength of their quarterback, superstar, living legend in the making, Pat Mahomes. He's having an incredible year, otherworldly year, and you have some statistics and a story to back up how unreal Pat Mahomes has been this season. Before I hand over to you, Miles, look, Chiefs fans, even if you get rid of Pat Mahomes, this franchise history is full of quality quarterbacks. You go from the old days of the AFL, you go to the Dick Vermeil days, you go to the early part of the Andy Reid era. There's been a lot of quality quarterbacks that have played for the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us your favorite non-Pat Mahomes quarterback that played for Kansas City in the comment section below. We want to hear from you. But Miles, give me the latest out of Kansas City.
Yeah, Nick. So Patrick Mahomes, as alluded to earlier, has been incredible this season. He's got some otherworldly statistics, and we're going to go into that right here, Nick. I have a graph that I want to show you. It is actually quite staggering to look at. So what we're looking at here is total drop pack EPA by coverage. So basically, to make it a little bit simpler, there's a line down the middle at 0. Anything to the left, they're bad against. Anything to the right, they are good against. And you can see the intensity. The color obviously indicates what coverage it is. The length of the bar indicates how often that quarterback sees that coverage. So when you look at this graph, there's a few things that stand out to you, Nick. One line is very long, and that's Patrick Mahomes' line. And that particular line doesn't have anything to the left. Everything is to the right of that. So there's not a single coverage, Nick, that Patrick Mahomes is not good against. In fact, he leads the league in EPA at 0.321 EPA. So that is pretty impressive. And you look at this graph, Nick, Patrick Mahomes is by far the best when you look at his EPA. He dominates cover 0 because they barely play against him at all. He has now learned to beat cover 2, 2-man, and now the things he sees with the most frequency are things like cover 1 and cover 3, and he's still good against those. They're on the right side of this graph, even though he sees it all the time. The only other quarterback who even is statistically good against everything is Trevor Lawrence. Seems to be doing good against all different coverages this season, but he's far down there in EPA. He's ranked 10th this season. So Mahomes is first by a large margin. The next quarterback, Nick, so I said Mahomes is 0.321, is Tua, who's 0.288. So Mahomes is a lot above them. He's about 0.04 above the next guy. So this is pretty staggering when you look at the data to show how accurate, how efficient Mahomes has been this year. What do you think, Nick?
Well, yeah, first of all, I agree. Look at the gap between Mahomes and Tua and everybody else. First, that's kind of the big sign, right, of how dominant Pat Mahomes has been. We talked about how good Tua was early in the season. Looks like Mahomes has clearly passed him. Credit to him and what everything he's done. But I want to go back to your point about how good Pat Mahomes has been against cover 2 and 2-man. Because going back to last year and the year before that, that was kind of the prevailing wisdom, that you play that 2 deep safety look against the Chiefs offense. You make Pat Mahomes hold on to the ball, check it down. You can beat this offense. You can slow him down. You can stagnate him. But so far this season, Mahomes has destroyed that narrative. He's been absolutely outstanding, and he's done it with good running backs, but not great running backs. And he's done it with injuries and no true number 1 receiver. They've got a good group, but it's no elite receiver, no Tyreek Hill guy. Obviously, he's gone. Kelsey's been a weapon, but it's obviously a little bit different being a tight end versus a wide receiver against some of these coverages. And Pat Mahomes has beaten them all. He's been staggering. And Miles, it's not just the advanced analytics. It's raw data is off the charts. He leads the NFL in passing yards. He leads the NFL in touchdowns. He's number 1 in QBR. I mean, every box you want to check with this guy, and he's been unreal. I've been blown away with his consistency against whether it's game by game, month by month, coverage by coverage. He doesn't appear to have a weakness, whether it's home, away, blitz, zone. It just doesn't seem to matter. And I don't know if we've ever seen a guy this good in the NFL the way Mahomes has been.
Yeah, and it's crazy, Nick, because I got to bring up the point again. It's so bizarre that you see other guys that are like on this list that are doing really, really well. You think of a guy like Tua, who gained a weapon, who gained Tyreek Hill, who was Mahomes' weapon that Mahomes lost. You see Jalen Hurts, who has A.J. Brown. He gained that weapon. Jimmy G is still on the list, although he's not currently playing because he's injured. But he's got a ton of great targets, and Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk's been playing really great this season. A lot of great guys. Josh Allen has Diggs. Joe Burrow has Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, all great receivers. I can go on and on and on. Mahomes is the only one who got significantly worse in the receiving
That's a great
department this
point.
season, and he is still outperforming everybody by so much. It's clear to me that if you look at the stats and all factors considered, Nick, he's really playing like the MVP this season, I feel, don't you?
Oh, 100% agree. And I talked about maybe midpoint of the season, maybe it would be Tua. There's a little momentum behind Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia, who's had a nice season. There's no doubt about that. But the fact of the matter remains, Pat Mahomes' consistency is what really drives it home to me, because everyone can have a great game. Everyone can have a certain coverage you can beat up, or you put up some crazy stats against a bad team. Jalen Hurts has been able to do some of that in Philadelphia. But Mahomes is good, whether it's managing a game, whether it's a shootout, whether it's, just kind of a slog of a game. It doesn't matter. He's good. He's consistent. Doesn't matter who he plays or their game plan against him. He finds a way to beat it. And for a guy this young, remember, he's still only 27 years old, right? It's not like he's Brady or Rodgers, who's been around for 15 years and they've seen everything. He's still only 27 years old. And to be this efficient and this consistent and frankly, this consistently good is just staggering to me. We already knew he was going to be a Hall of Famer. We already knew he was going to be a legend. Right now, he's just starting to separate himself from the pack in the NFL. And it's just going to be fun to keep watching what he can do in this league.